Eased up woman.
It's like
he was watching hardcore pawn porn.
Is that a thing?
I'm here to bring it. I'm here to pick up my necklace.
Did you say, is it a thing?
Is it a thing?
What? I'm here to pick up my necklace. Do you have a ticket? No. Well, I'm gonna have to fuck you.
I mean, for example, as a security guard comes in and tries to sell a gun, and he's like, "Well, I can't really do nothing with this," but. Because we don't do stops, we don't do cuts. Unless the camera shuts off. It's so much easier for me to edit it all in one go. And I had something I was gonna say to introduce it, but I had to flip the microphone around. And yeah, you're right. I'm very resistant to change until I find the problem.
Wait, what happened?
I said I'm very resistant to change until I find the problem.
Are you trying to flow into this like nothing happened?
What's that?
Like...
Are you trying to flow into this
no,
like
I
nothing
said it.
happened?
I said we tried to record
like
and then it was fucked up. So then now we're recording again.
Okay, because you said no cuts, we keep going, and then I'm like, but you deleted everything that we just said, so we should just kind of cut this and like delete it and then
I'll figure it out. Because listen, it's a lot easier for me. I can't. It's done.
It's in my savings. I need to transfer it to my checking.
It's done.
The way that my phone is set up.
Alright, so we already said it, but what we used to do on my old podcast.
No, we didn't. You fucking deleted it, man. We didn't say shit.
Well, we physically have already said it, but we used to start my old podcast with the little bong rip and then
just rap to him like we ain't never said it before. Why you? Oh, that nostalgia hit right there.
Because it did happen. We gotta talk about it.
Oh, somebody got a trade alert.
No, it literally is for. It could be any sport.
That's not mine.
Soccer. I ain't got no fantasy soccer. All right, what's going on, guys? My name's Cliff, and this is Higher Education's podcast. Today we are joined by. Say your names.
X. Lloyd.
He just left my nigga out. I'm Brian. See, I got you. I got you.
Oh yeah, and as always,
hi Bitcoin.
Hi.
Well, you can't be two niggas, nigga.
I'm Brian. I'm sassy. We're the only people here.
I literally looked over at Brian and I was like, "Damn, who you go?"
I'm Reptar.
I was about to say Brian. That's Brian. Say what's up to Brian up there. So I know millions of people play fantasy football, right? You play no, we're going. Don't call me on that. Fuck you. Don't call me.
I'm sorry. You said keep going. My bad. No cuts.
Millions of people play fantasy football.
Totally.
You play it. I play it. I've been trying to get these two other people to play it.
I was one time in the league.
Hey, did you win? Were you a taco?
No, it was.
Do you know what taco is?
Yes, I know. It's a league joke. I got it. It was actually probably a league that maybe you guys were in. It was after Young Life. I got suckered into the league that
I wasn't there,
was in.
but I know what you mean.
Then I was like, I wasn't even there when y'all drafted, and y'all just auto drafted for me.
Man, auto drafters are the worst.
Wait,
Wait, was he in that?
Wait, yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, fuck this nigga. Wait.
Oh yeah.
You were one of the people who just didn't play the whole time.
Didn't play, motherfucker. I wasn't there for the draft.
That's the easy clap.
He literally got me. He fucking
put GG in the chat.
Was like, exactly. I didn't even have a login. I didn't know what my roster was.
It's like, niggas on by. Nigga, I can't even get in. I said goodbye to the roster. But so yeah, I play fantasy football. And I was like,
how pissed would y'all have been how that fucking won?
It'd be like that.
I'm going up against Brian in the fucking playoffs.
That's what Taco is. I remember they talk about the league and how fucking the commissioner Kevin's never won it. And Taco's like, yeah, man, I don't need it. I never won it either. And Pete's like, you mean, that's your name, like right there. Like it was at your house for a whole year. And Taco was like, oh yeah. But yeah, so I was looking at defenses and I really don't need any defenses.
I was watching hardcore pawn, And
I was waiting for something else.
exactly no. I just had to make sure I got the word right. But no, this
He was watching hardcore porn.
I was watching hardcore porn, and there was this deezed up woman.
This deezed
He was watching hardcore porn.
Is that a thing?
I'm here to bring it. I'm here to pick up my necklace.
Did you say is it a thing?
Is it a thing?
What? I'm here to pick up my necklace. Do you have a ticket? No.
I mean,
well, I'm gonna have to fuck you.
I mean, for example, as a security guard comes in and tries to start a gun, and he's like, "Well, I can't really do nothing with this," but but look it up. Don't just. I'm not.
Can you give me another example? Can you please give me another example?
We'll see.
Goes to sell a car. She wants more than what the car's worth, and he's like, "Well,
this woman went to go sell her motorcycle jacket.
Wait,
she went to go sell her motorcycle jacket. It
You've
wasn't
seen
porn.
one?
No, it wasn't porn. It wasn't porn.
It's like I've seen this one. That's great.
You watched that one too?
I'm caught up.
She thick as fuck.
I'm all caught up. She is. What were you watching?
Yeah, no, I was watching that, and this woman, like this female bodybuilder, came in, and she like was trying to sell her jacket and shit. And then they were like, "Yo, can you pick this dude up?" She goes up to this like short white bald dude, like he looks super ugly, all this other shit, and she's like, "All right, do it." She fucking picks him up like 2-3 feet off the ground.
I'd pick you up, baby.
And then this like bigger dude comes over. He's like 350 pounds. She does the same. She doesn't pick him up as big, but after she's done, the camera cuts to him and he's like all giddy and shit. And he's like, "Oh,
nigga, that made me hard.
I haven't touched a woman. I haven't been touched by a woman like that.
All right, wait a minute.
In like
You got
10 years or like some shit like that."
You got too excited.
Oh, man.
Like somebody give that nigga a hug.
Like I think he
No,
just peaked.
like somebody get him a new pair of pants. Fuck a hug.
Poop, that nigga just came. All right, so back to fantasy football. Something a little more wholesome. Oh, someone came. I was looking at defenses. I got the Pats D, and they got a nice, easy schedule for the first 7 weeks, so I'm not really giving them up. I was more just looking at defenses for fun. And this is on ESPN too. I got to just looking at defenses. The bottom one was the Dolphins because they're in full tank mode. And ESPN had this to say about the Dolphins defense. They said, "Why are you reading this? Just for fun? We'd assume you never considered using a defense that just gave up 59 points against arguably the greatest quarterback ever the week he gets one of the greatest receivers ever to join his team." So I wanted to see what it said this week after they lost 43-0 to the Pats. Also, they only scored -9 points.
What did they score?
The Pats defense scored 35 points, and I wasted it. I wasted a 35-point defensive game because of Pat Mahomes.
They got 2 picks.
They got they got 2 pick sixes. They had 4 picks. They had like a bunch of sacks. Yeah. All right. So this week, ESPN said again, really, don't do this. Look elsewhere. NFL defenses are, on average, allowing opponents to score 21.9% of opposing drives. The Dolphins, meanwhile, have allowed a touchdown on 52.2%. This is the worst in the league by a wide margin. Dallas is second in the NFL with 3.4 points scored per drive. So you can do better.
Why are they so bad?
Because they're in tank mode. They literally have given up pieces so they can get better. They're trying to do what the Sixers did. And honestly, I don't think it works in football. Because in football, niggas like I'm putting my body on. Like basketball, what do you risk? Just losing for a couple of years. You just get dunked on a bunch.
You might break your ankle. It's fine. It happens.
You might break your ankle, but in football, you're getting hit every year for no reason. Like, niggas not trying to...
I mean, not for no reason. You're still getting paid a fat check.
You're getting paid...
You are getting paid a fat check. You're living in Miami, Florida.
But you're putting your body on the line for nothing. Right? Like, when basketball players, they can... I don't know. It just feels weird. I do want Miami to get better, but it's just weird how like you need the tank, but you should also do what the Browns did, and the Browns aren't out of that. But if you not lose on purpose,
I'm sorry, you think the Browns are intentionally losing?
All right,
you think the Browns have the capacity to just start winning games?
It's like, all right, guys, let's quit this shit out.
You know what? You know what my favorite thing to watch is?
What?
Browns fans week 1. Like when they lose week 1, it's
so
always
fucked up that
the
that's a pattern
same
when they
thing
lose.
every
Bro, this year,
single
the hype
year.
for the Browns this year has been the loudest. Niggas was like, we about to just get a bye week to the Super Bowl. Fuck you mean? And then they lost to the Titans that first game, and it was like, you guys have nice pieces. You guys just have not played before. And they're like, but we were supposed to go to the Super Bowl. Fuck,
We
play
lost.
together. But then they beat the Jets week 2.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Browns, we shouldn't be shitting on the Browns anymore. Since we're talking about bad football teams, the Giants now have the worst record than the Browns since 2017.
But here's the thing: the Browns beating the Bengals.
The Browns went 0-16 in that span. Since 2017, the Giants have a worse record than the Browns. Just how bad are the Giants since 2017? They're 8-26. The Browns are 8-25-1.
That
Yeah. What do you know?
They really got a tie under their belt now.
You listen.
They got 25 losses.
No, listen.
Wait, hold on.
listen,
Wait.
No.
Is 25 or 26 higher? Which one?
Yeah, but the one tie is a loss in my opinion.
No, it's not. It's a
not
tie.
a win.
They didn't lose that game. They tied.
It's
Here's the thing: you round up
Okay.
either way.
Wait. It's a nothing, right? If it's a nothing, it's 8-26 and 8-25.
No, it's not. That's a loss.
And it's not a loss. No, they didn't lose either.
They didn't win.
But they didn't lose.
They have to come up for that other game, but either way, they didn't win more than the Giants did.
They won the exact same amount
All right,
that
they have the worst-
Giants did.
Statistically, they have the worst record. I didn't say better. I just said Giants are worse.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It's still the Browns.
Add 2016 in.
At 2016, then? Why?
Because it was probably
That's math. Wait, why?
Because Browns is shit.
Alright, let's see what it is.
Here, I'll look up the Giants. No, you look it all up. You got a big TV. I got a little tiny screen. I can't read numbers.
He said, I look at the Browns. And I was like, oh, he's going to say, I look at the Giants. You look at the Browns. I was like, no. So you do both.
Yeah, I was gonna, but then I realized I'm high. You on a side note, X?
Okay, wait. That's
I'm
not
not
fair.
saying this on the podcast.
Damn, that's not fair, nigga.
Why?
Giants went 11-5 in 2016.
Yeah.
The Browns went 1-15.
Yeah. That's because
The Browns doo-doo.
They all right.
If you're trying to sit here and tell me that the Browns are
They got
worse
Baker
than
Mayfield.
the Giants,
You seen the commercial with
Giants,
Baker Mayfield where he was at? Yo, Eli Manning got benched. They're starting Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Eli Manning is done.
I think the Giants. I've been saying it. They should trade him to the fucking Jaguars. Nick Foles went down. He probably out for the season. Get Eli Manning over there.
Eli Manning is washed up though.
Yeah, he is.
He's
Actually, I was watching this dude go off on this other dude. Here, this wasn't on the podcast, but since this is related, they were talking about Eli Manning being washed up, and then they were not talking about him being washed up. They were just like giving praise to Eli Manning, and then this dude was talking about Cam Newton being washed up, and then another analyst was like, or ex-football player analyst was like, nigga, that's not right.
Paul Feinbaum, he played in your beloved SEC. Final word on Cam Newton. We're not watching the beginning of the end. It is the end. It's over for Cam Newton. I don't know why we are mincing words and trying to find a pretty way to put it. I think he's a train wreck right now. He can't do what he used to do. And quite frankly, forget the sympathy tour. Cam Newton has never really cared about anyone other than Cam Newton. And that doesn't mean he shouldn't be given the opportunity, but he's brought this franchise down. It's over for Cam Newton. Nice knowing you, but you're done.
This is my only statement to that. Right?
Yeah.
We just spoke glowingly about Paul glowingly about Eli Manning, and he has been a dud for the last 4 years. You want to talk about bringing a franchise down? Eli has ruined that franchise. So we got to take out how we feel about dudes because he's a Manning, because we love him, because he gives us this sucks. You can do whatever you want to be, and I'm going to be okay about it. That's not true. If we're looking at it right now, Cam has more left than Eli's had for years.
He said we need to rip the dust to fire you up.
Paul about to get jumped, my nigga. He had the water cooler talking like, I love the fact that he was on ESPN like, get up.
Yeah. Who was that anyway?
He was like, get up. Yo, all right, but I for that fact, and also
because you to watch that whole thing.
You know that like
because he probably said some nice shit about Eli.
When the one dude was talking, that both those dudes were looking at each other like,
the fuck?
and then he was like, listen, I just want to say
you want to say it or should I? You got it.
Oh,
I hype you up. I'll be a hype man.
You hit him up. You go first. I'll follow up.
It's not even like planned. He just like, damn, he made some good point. Get him.
Hey, look, he in the middle of a get him right now. Look, you're like get him. He wound up. He's like, get him.
But yeah, no, that's so fuck Eli. Only because I'm a Pats fan, and like Cam was looking
fuck
bad.
that dude, man.
Fuck Paul, yeah, whatever. He said,
It was like he said he brought this franchise down and everything, nigga.
He was really going off the cusp hard at Cam for no reason.
For real though, like
he was waiting for something. He was like, "See, let me dust off this script.
Like, shit,
2019. Let's put Buccaneers."
I saw this shit when he got drafted.
This shit said, and then Brett Favre. Oh no, hold on, he wasn't even in the league. I'm just hating. All right.
I already got Jameis Winston.
So wait, real quick. I got one. You have one. You have one. You have one. Vaporizers. The U.S. government is trying to take away vaporizers. All right?
They can take away my asshole.
I thought about it. I really did think about it, and it's so obvious. It's so obvious. The U.S. government is... Now, we're going to put our conspiracy hats on, right? Because this is...
Suburban and white.
The government is trying to take away vapes. THC vapes in general, because THC vapes leads to nicotine vapes, but they're trying to get rid of all of them.
That's like saying fucking coffee leads to cocaine.
Conspiracy hats are on. The U.S. government is trying to get rid of all vapes. All right. Now hear me out.
Yeah.
Tobacco industry is a $300 billion industry.
That's a billion with a B, people.
And they give kickbacks to the government.
Kickbacks.
Right,
you know what?
Lounging outside.
You know what Juul and Enjoy and Mods don't do to the government because there's so many?
Kickbacks.
They don't give kickbacks to the government. It's like cigarettes are iPhones and vapes are Androids.
Nah. You wrong. Cigarettes are iPhones. Cigars and cigarillos are Androids.
No, what? What?
Vapes are Nokias. No, vapes are Blackberries at this point. All right.
I think you messed up. No, go back to mine. I like your analogy, but go back to my analogy. Because here, what, nigga? Why?
What do you mean?
Why are cigarettes or cigarillos and shit? What would you say?
I said cigars and cigarillos.
Yeah, why are those
People
Androids?
buy more of those.
Way more.
Okay, so my reasoning for saying why
But
cigarettes.
no, I'd put vaping in that second category though.
Okay, so my reason for saying that though is why cigarettes are iPhones and vapes are like Androids, because with cigarettes there's only one model you can get. It's gonna be like this. It's a tube with a filter or no filter, but there's tobacco in it. With vapes, they come in all different shapes and sizes and modifications. You can do things that you can't do with cigarettes.
Right.
So, my conspiracy is that the government wants to get rid of all of it. They don't even want weed to be a thing, because weed's not giving them money. They want...
Weed's giving them money.
Weed
has to give
at the
money.
state level is giving the money, which is giving the federal money.
So if they
Well, no, because here's the thing. It's
But-
the reason it doesn't give the federal government money is because the federal government considers it's illegal.
Yeah.
So if the federal government were to be like, this is like, they get revenue from tobacco and
Well, that's a whole other thing. They already think
alcohol and like it's
They already
just
think-
federal sales.
They already think that it's illegal. But so what's happening with big tobacco conspiracy hats? Big tobacco is paying the same fees as alcohol and weed in legal states. But on top of that, there's more money for, hey, we're going to throw politicians that you support that support us in your favor, right? I don't think there's no big weed to do that. There's no big vape to do that. No, I want there to be, but there's no big vape to do that. So the government's trying to get big vape out the way.
I mean, actually, that point could be argued with the big weed because a lot of the dispensaries and grows that you see opening in limited legal states are dispensaries and grows that exist in other states. So that is the big business. It's just not as giant as you think it is.
I know, but we're talking about big
conspiracy
tobacco, big weed. So yeah, so New York State, New York City.
Either one.
Yeah, so New York State Health Commissioner said an emergency meeting. Nope. New York State health officials voted on Tuesday to carry out Governor Andrews' executive action to ban the sales of most flavored e-cigarettes. So most flavored e-cigarettes are banned in the state. You know what flavors aren't banned? Tobacco flavor?
Menthol.
Actually, it was tobacco and something else. But they said they're going to have an emergency meeting and look at menthol to decide whether it should be banned or not. So niggas heard that and they was like, y'all gonna ban menthol? Menthol? It's like, all right, we gonna talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
I think that's the
So this ban, it's aimed to stop children from smoking. Said tobacco products rose 160% from 2014 to 2018. Who the fuck is buying all these vapes and shit for these kids? Because if the store is selling them to a parent and the parent's giving it to them, that's on the parent. But I don't think, majority of the time, I think it's a kid going into a person who works at a store and they're like, fuck it.
It's really easy to have older friends in this day and age.
And that too, so it's like
the age was 18.
And like everybody broke, so people are like, yeah, I'll do it. Give me $5.
But you can't stop that. How do you stop that?
You don't.
It's the same thing with cigarettes.
That's literally what America is. It's capitalism,
right? Hold on, that's what cigarettes do.
We were smoking at like 17.
Overreaction. I mean, it's not overreaction. We shouldn't have been smoking at 17 either. But I think the things that we're seeing now is an overreaction.
100%. You know what's more of a danger to people?
But that's what the government. That's what the government wants, though. They want to cause this hysteria and be like, "Hey, don't do this." They don't want the rational people like us to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
So my solution is to make weed legal. Make weed legal. Make THC carts legal. With THC carts being legal leads to them being regulated, them being like actually safe. And the regulation of THC carts, you can basically just put nicotine in that, and then that's safe, and then you can, at the government level, push that out.
Well, no, because here's the thing: is it just?
The addictive part, man. I feel like if they're legalizing weed, that's the last thing the government will want to do is add like an addictive product into it.
They don't give a fuck about addiction. They want money.
You don't want a six pack that come with a fucking
and the most important hold on. And the most important part of my plan is that there is a big weed and big vape, and they gotta give money to the governments.
You know what? I just want to be able to walk into a head shop and buy a bong and tell them that I'm fucking smoking weed out of it, and be
So
like, I can't sell this
pipe?
to you, sir. This is a water pipe.
I don't know.
It's a fucking bong, dude.
I'm sorry you don't want to make no money.
Say, look, bitch, yeah. They got aggressive. All right, so now I want to talk about an SNL cast member. He was a Philadelphia comedian. He got hired for SNL. Now, SNL also hired another Asian American actor, and that was really dope because there hasn't been an Asian American actor on SNL. And then afterwards, they hired Shane Gillis. And then after that, it's found out that Shane Gillis has used racist, sexist, and homophobic verbiage on his podcast a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago. And the internet was like, fuck no. So Shane Gillis was promptly fired from SNL.
Not my SNL.
Shane,
we don't do that here.
He basically said some shit like episode 98, Kapow. He talks about various religious views on heaven. Proclaims Muslim heaven is the best. There's only one way there, dude. You gotta spill blood. You gotta praise Allah by spilling blood.
Do you know what Allah means in English? Sorry, in Arabic. You know what Allah means? God.
God wants us to kill niggas. I mean, the Bible itself, God was like, go kill that nigga. Wait, chill.
What?
Calm down.
Are you talking about the motherfucker
That's
who
literally what happened.
Are you talking about?
Wait, no, chill.
I was just playing with you.
What?
Nigga, you brought me up here to kill me? You fucking serious, Dad?
I love the Family Guy bit where he's like, so what the fuck?
What the fuck was that?
He's like, dude, fucking God's up in heaven, fucking token. He's like, dude, I'm sorry, I really didn't think you'd do it. Like, I told you to kill your only son, dude. Like, do you not remember two sentences ago about how hard it was for you and your wife to have children?
and you just walked up a mountaintop with a knife? You were just...
Fuck this guy.
Damn.
You savage, nigga. You made me. I said, if the nigga popped out the sky, I said, hey, kill this nigga. It's an angel.
I'm gonna give you a new dad. I'm gonna just throw this whole dad away. I'm sorry, kid. You wanna be my kid? Here, let me... No, I don't wanna be your kid. No.
You told him to kill me, you fuck.
So, innocent enough. I'd say, though, if you're gonna make fun of one religion like we're doing, you should make fun of them all. You gotta be inclusive. It's either all or nothing, like South Park. But then in another episode, he talks about being... he talks about being in Chinatown, and he's like, Chinatown's fucking nuts. Lots of fucking C words live there. Oh. He later recalls the restaurant being full of Chinese C words in there. He basically talks about, like, the translation between you and the waiter is such a fucking hassle. And I'm pointing at the menu because they can't speak the language. And it's like, for one, they kind of can. And two, they can speak 2 languages. So that's more than what you could probably speak. So give them a fucking break.
You can kind of just fuck off.
Like, oh, that's what I wanted to say. So I went to a fucking... After you guys left, I went to that Mexican place. The Hispanic place with my verbiage. I'm sorry.
But, that's a Mexican place.
Yeah. So I wanted to get tacos. And even May was like, Taco Bell? And I was like...
No.
I said I wanted tacos. I wanted tacos.
Wait, you went back to that same place?
No, this is a story I'm telling right now.
Oh my god. Go on. I'm sorry. Go on. I'm sorry.
So I went there, and when I pulled up, I was like, all right, this is like right by 69th Street, so it looks kind of sketch. But I'm going to still go in. And I'm going to go in and just flip a coin with my stomach. So I'm either not going to shit or I'm going to shit. So let's see what... Because when I go to good spots like that, I have a normal poo-poo. But when I go to bad spots like Taco Bell, it's bad poo-poo.
Stop acting like a child.
Like the big burrito spot in Fishtown, good poo-poo.
Good poo-poo. Yeah.
Taco Bell on State Road, bad poo-poo.
On the potty. Like, you gotta use the potty.
What's up? LNG's bad poo-poo.
Alfredo's good poo-poo.
But so yeah, and I was like, all right. I get in there and I see the place is full. And I was like, bet I'm eating here. And everyone in there was Latino. And I was like, if I walked into anywhere at 69th Street and it was full, like if I walked into an African spot and it's all black people, bet. I trust it. I mean, I trust it also because I know niggas not fucking with it unless it's fire. But I trust it because I see...
full ass restaurant, yeah.
One, it's a full restaurant, so I'm like, bet. Yeah. But two, it's a full restaurant of the people there. It's not like some random Yelpers being like...
I was about to say, it's not just a bunch of white people going like...
I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
Tapas!
That's the thing, too. I was like...
It's so spicy. Is that salt?
Tastes just like gentrification.
They gave me a menu that was in all Spanish, and I was like, oh, snap. And
that's how you know you made it.
I saw tapas
you made it to the right place.
Spelled out for the first time, and I didn't know it was an E, not an A. And I was like, well, can I get the top 8 with the top?
Can I get the tapes?
And as I got my mouth got to top 8, and I was like, oh shit, I sound so dumb.
Tapas.
All right, I mean, and then she didn't even put it on the menu because I was like, how much? Because they were like $7, and I was like, how much is the meat? She's like, it's gonna be $8, and I was like, can we do that without the meat, please? I don't want. And then she never even put it on the bill, and I was like, you know what? That was probably best for me and my wallet.
On. Do you think it was just $1 extra for the meat?
Or was no, it said it on the menu too. Here,
let me see. I'll look for it. Continue telling your story.
So yeah, it was just fire, and I think that.
I wanted to look at this. I'm sorry.
I forget the point of telling it, but yeah. Well, no, hold on. Don't get too deep into the menu because then whoever's looking at the menu is not gonna be paying attention. So just
I'm
find
listening.
It.
I'm still listening.
Go for it.
You gonna be looking at the menu?
Fucking speak.
All right. So anyway, I. Okay. So anyway, Shane Gilis. Oh, that's where I was. Basically, people found this out and they were talking, like yelling at SNL over Twitter, being like, "We should fire this nigga." And eventually, SNL fired him. And then comedians were either saying that was a good thing he did it or it was a bad thing. Like Rob Schneider was like, "Oh, it's a shame SNL was like firing people." Like what did Rob Schneider say?
Tweets. No, tweet server. Well, I mean,
Where are we
it's
at?
kind of who you are as a person, right? At that point.
What? Yeah, Rob Schneider said, as a former SNL cast member, I'm sorry that you had the misfortune of being a cast member during this era of cultural unforgiveness, where comedic misfires are subject to the intolerable inquisition of those who never risk bombing on stage themselves. Hey, I got something I want to say about that. One, I tweeted at you. You probably didn't see it, Rob Schneider. I got on stage once. I didn't bomb. I didn't do very well, but I certainly didn't bomb. But I don't think this was bombing. This wasn't a comedic misstep. This wasn't living in an era of cultural whatever the fuck he said. Because what does that even mean? Oh, people are unforgivable when you're ignorant about their culture. Is that what that means? Does it mean, oh, we live in an era where people need you to think that their culture is important? Is that what that means? Because that's also important. What does he mean by that? Rob, didn't you play a movie where you were a teenage girl and then what did that mean? You were trying to what? I was gonna say, didn't he play a movie where he was a carrot? But then I was like, that was a South Park bit. And he was a stapler.
And then he was a stapler.
Then he was.
No, he played. Wasn't he in a movie where he was like he like talked to animals or something like that?
I like that one. I'm not gonna shit on that. But that was good. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. But
he's always Adam Sandler's sidekick too.
He is, because Adam Sandler be bringing this niggas.
You can do it, Ozzy.
And I was just like, Adam Sandler, why are you getting involved in you not even was this nigga going around doing sets?
Adam Sandler said something?
Or Rob Schneider, that's what I meant.
Didn't David Spade say something as well?
Yeah, let me see if we can find that. But yeah, it's accountability, nigga.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and then I was just like, he didn't even offer an apology. Like, it was cultural insensitivity, is what it was. I feel
100%.
I just want to get off that.
Niggas ignorant.
And I got people on Facebook I was talking to in this fucking. I'm a part of a Facebook group that is for Philadelphia comedians to go to shows, to perform, but also just to watch shows. And that was a big topic in there. Like, I was arguing back and forth with so many people. And like, they're like, comedians can't say anything. I feel like comedians are supposed to be, we should be the ones that can say everything. And I feel like comedians should be able to joke about, there should be topics that comedians can't touch and they can still be funny.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I feel like you can joke about almost anything in the right way. Because I feel like even like Louis C.K.'s joke where he's like in the forklift, that joke's not about being black. That joke is about how could you fall asleep on a forklift. It's about the racist family the whole time and how you fall asleep on the forklift. And then you're like, damn, I didn't even think about that the whole time.
But see, that's not. Exactly,
and then I was in this conversation. I was talking to this black dude too, and I was like, all right, well, how would you feel if he said this, but the N word on a podcast instead of the C word? And he was like, well, what's the context? And I was like, well, what do you mean? Why does it matter? And he was like, well, actually, I feel like I wouldn't care. And I was like, all right, bet, but because you wouldn't care, do you think someone else might? Like, what does it mean that no one else would care? Why it is because you're not offended, do you not possibly think someone else could not be offended by it?
Empathy, my nigga.
Niggas just lack of shit.
I don't know why comedy has evolved like this to where like we feel that like that we gotta constantly be edgelords and push the boundaries and just I don't know, maybe it's just dudes living under rocks for like 20 years like Kramer comes out and he's like, what? I can't scream the N-word and people will laugh? What?
I feel like that's the thing too, is that people talk about like, oh, well, George Carlin and like the 7 dirty words. And it's like he had a joke that he set up around those words that led up to those words. The words were built in with like the joke was going. And then it wasn't just like I'm saying it to say it. It was like there's a whole joke and lead up and finish and close of that.
Yeah.
It's not just saying like fuck, shit, cunt, piss, dirty. Like, can I say those on YouTube? Can I say all those on YouTube? You can
No.
say it. No.
I don't know. I definitely say
Yes.
Yes.
You can say that on YouTube.
Say whatever you want.
I was starting to say it, and I was like, I'm not on HBO. No, I got my own
We
special.
smoke weed on this podcast.
Oh shit, yeah, you can say that shit. Or all right. So speaking of another Philly comedian, I want to speak about Kevin Hart. Boy, Kevin Hart. What?
Because I'm not defending this nigga because the wording and all that ignorance he had was ridiculous. But like Chinatown in the middle of the day, crazy as fuck.
If you go to Chinatown in the middle of the day and you are expecting someone to clearly speak to you, you're out of your mind.
It's called Chinatown.
You are literally ignorant. What do you?
I went to the place designated for them, and
That's like
they weren't accepting of me.
That's like the chick who went to the fucking plantation and was like, all they did was talk about slaves. Nigga, that's what they supposed to do.
Wow.
You know what happened here? You know what happened at this plantation?
We made
slavery.
That's what I'm saying. They're like, we actually wanted the history of the cotton gin and how nigga, a black guy made that shit too. What? Ooh, what you want?
We named the bush after.
Y'all want some shirts? Nigga, cotton. Yeah. Slaves. What?
Do you think they were there for research? They were like, we don't want to know about the conditions. We just want to know about the growth cycles of the cotton and the processing speed.
So you at the wrong place, my nigga. As they out there with the clipboard. Hey, nigga. How fast that plant growing? You ain't teach me how to read, so.
I don't know what tall is.
But if you did teach me how to read, I would tell you it takes about 10 weeks.
If I knew,
how you know what weeks is, nigga?
if I knew a concept of time. If I knew what inches were.
They got some concept, nigga. Sundown, sun up. What? It's like, what? Yeah, there's something.
You said they didn't know. You just didn't know weeks. I'm just going over that.
We just started counting the sun.
I don't know.
Wait, can I say this real quick? Do you feel comfortable if we, for some reason, any one of us got to SNL? If someone found this podcast, would you guys be okay with that?
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, as long as all the things about
slavery.
They cut out.
Include what? No, just considering what I cut out in the past and what I've cut out, what I might cut out from this. Would you feel comfortable having someone find this later?
That's the thing.
I feel like I would.
I haven't.
I feel like
I haven't watched any, let alone
exactly.
all of the podcasts that I'm on, so I don't know what you leave in / leave out. So
this nigga Brian being here like, yeah, I suck my dick. All right, we ready to you ready to film?
I don't think.
Oh shit! It stopped.
No. I think that, like you were saying, there's a way of. I think that, like you were saying, that there's a way of like doing comedy without, pushing the boundaries or like being
like John. I keep going back to John.
Yeah.
I gave you more than the Civil War cost, and you spent it already?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. For a quarter, they gave me this many.
Oh, what the fuck? I turned that off. Oh, yeah. Oh, we gotta turn that off right now.
Turn what off?
I had the metronome click in my ear.
Metronome.
You gotta stop that right now. Yeah, cut that off. That.
Someone's in here.
All right. So, speaking of another Philadelphia comic that just
Someone's in here. Sorry,
niggas. Y'all making me not like John Mulaney, which is borderline impossible.
I'm just like imagining going into the bathroom. Someone doing that. Wait,
someone's in here.
Are you actually in there? Like,
someone's in here.
Who else is in there?
I'm about to face the rest of this. About to just eat all this.
It's actually really funny because
what, nigga? You going on a tangent?
I'll be at work and I'll hear something really loud in the background because that's the only thing he'll play at a really loud volume because I
Netflix
guess
and YouTube are very quiet compared to music.
I don't think that's what it is. I think it's because the other podcast that he playing back there, he definitely can't have customers here. And
that's the thing. Netflix and YouTube are quieter than music, but Apple Podcast is loud. So I can hear the things I listen to on Apple Podcasts, which is Call Me Daddy. And that's the thing the customer shouldn't hear.
Yeah. 100%.
That's the one that can go the loudest.
Shout out.
Call Me Daddy. Yeah, put us on some shit. Daddy Gang.
Give me
I be
some
swiping past girls on
swipes.
Tinder, and their Tinder bio will say Daddy Gang, and I'm like, do I want to swipe right because Daddy Gang, or do I want to swipe left because she's in the Daddy Gang? Yeah. Nigga, they be giving some really toxic advice on there, and they always like, don't listen to us.
I got this
and I'm
text
like,
while I was pooping today.
that shit geeked. So, I want to talk about another Philadelphian comedian that
could be Mike.
That says some stuff too. That's what I said. Who was Mike? Me, Mike. Me, Mike. I'm sorry. I'm Mike. But yeah, so Kevin Hart was in the news recently. So apparently he's being sued for $60 million over a Las Vegas sex tape. I don't want to talk about that. That's still going on, so I don't want to weigh in on that. And we know that Kevin Hart was also in a car accident. Well, I saw this on a podcast, and they talked about it, and I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. And I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, damn, that's wild. And then I got linked to it from Reddit, and I was like, all right, I want to talk about this. So Lil Nas was on The Shop, which is an HBO production where athletes and such and rappers go on it, and they just talk. And it's supposed to be like a barbershop feel where you're just talking. But again, it's a TV show, so it's not completely the aspects of a barbershop, probably the negative aspects that we don't want. So Lil Nas is on there, and he's talking about coming out. And he explains that he's like, if I came out before I got big, then it's like you're doing it for attention. But me coming out now, it's like it's for real. Yeah. And then I'll play the rest of the clip.
And with all that early success, you felt it was important to make an announcement recently.
He said he was gay, so what?
Yeah, why did he feel that was necessary? Who cares? That's actually my question. Why did he feel it was necessary to come out and say that?
It's not that it's being forced. It's just knowing growing up, I'm growing up to hate that shit. I'm not supposed to ever
hate what? Hate what?
Homosexuality, gay
Why?
people. Come on now.
Why are you gonna
If you're really from the hood, it's not some. So it's if for me, the cool dude with the song on top of everything to say this any other time, I'm doing this for attention in my eyes. But if you're doing this while you're at the top, it's for real, and it's showing it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Exactly, it does. There it is.
Mind you, one of the reasons why I didn't talk about this is because when we talked about Kevin Hart, we talked about him being in a car accident. So when The Shop dropped this, Kevin Hart was laying in a hospital bed. So when the internet dragged Kevin Hart was in a hospital bed. The Shop didn't think not to release that clip. But
I mean,
also,
I don't think they thought that it would have gone that bad, because from a first watch, it just kind of seems like a white person being like,
yes,
what?
Yes.
What? Slavery ended in 1860s.
Exactly. And it's on two fronts, knowing the black community and that homophobic paranoia
not
that they
even
have,
fuck the black community. He
knowing
literally has made homophobic jokes.
No, we're not even
No,
there.
I'm sorry. I'm saying, forget that. Him himself, he's literally made.
This is another white man telling us to forget some shit, huh? I said, forget about all that shit. Remember the good days. Good times.
Kevin Hart has literally made homophobic jokes himself. He knows exactly. As soon as he realized what Lil Nas X was talking about, he shut up. He was like, "Oh, true. I know what you mean."
And he just can't seem to understand that. He can't understand why people are upset at him and why he should just not be talking during. We're not saying you're not allowed to take part of the conversation. Just don't say shit. Just listen.
I feel like that could have been edited out too.
Right? Hold on. Right? Don't you feel like that could have been edited out?
100%. It could have just cut, and then it could have scrambled back a little bit.
What's the point?
Because it kind of did seem like at first maybe he didn't know where he was going, or maybe he was just trying to defend him or say something he's just saying who he is, and then realized oh, he meant something different, but he was still intolerant about it, and then realized it during it. You know what I mean? And it's one thing, because I don't know, when I talk to intolerant people, it doesn't go like that.
No,
they shit like that. Literally, he just was like, oh no, I feel you. You're talking I see what you mean. That's true.
It's just,
and that was the difference for me. I feel because of that, you could have just edited out that little thing, especially because he's in a hospital bed. you know, recovering.
But also, nigga could just not speak. Like, the fact that he was like, why are you so defensive to be like, what do you mean? Nigga, you grew up in Philly, you know what he means. You grew up in the black community, you know what he means. If you don't know what he means, then that means you are still a part of the problem.
You literally joke about it.
That's that little shut up he did was like, oh damn, I'm on TV. Let me because also he's drinking there.
So he's probably a little like.
No, I don't actually subscribe to that. All right, drunk minds do not say sober thoughts. Drunk minds say whatever drunk minds want. Sometimes sober niggas be trying to be on a diet, and they be like, you know what? I genuinely am just done with sweets. And then you be like, but not me, because I love sweets, but I'm talking about real people. And then they just be drunk, and they be like, tacos, belly. Now, yeah, real people.
Better analogy.
I be like, I love shit. I know deep down that I love that shit.
Really do not want you to fuck them in the butt. 6-pack of White Claws.
Ain't no laws. But yeah, I don't think drunk minds say whatever they want. Some niggas be peaceful as shit and then they get into fights and it's like, oh, that's bad. No, peaceful.
But some people,
my analogies are bad, but just trust me on this.
Like some people, they keep quiet or they just kind of slip out a little bit when it's whatever. But then when they get drunk, it's just like amplified.
I was gonna say, here's also
actions, but I know for the anxious person that I am. Most of the time. Sometimes when I get drunk, you know, not really drunk, maybe like a little tipsy, helps it, eases it off a little bit. But after that, it's just kind of like, let's get fucked up. You know what I mean?
Because I feel like my problem always with that has been like, as a person, we're not holding back everything. I'm not saying every person is like, I could just kill someone right now, but I don't. But as people, we do hold back certain things. It might be small, like I could steal that spot, but I won't. Or I could put that candy bar in my pocket, but I won't. And then you get drunk and you literally are just letting everything flow out. So it's not like you're doing all these things that you wanted to do, but it's like just, I don't know.
No filter.
Yeah, it's just everything is happening.
Just be high all the time and then you won't have to worry about it because you're inhibited.
Yeah.
You're just like, I would grab that chocolate bar, but I can't. Have too many snacks in my hand already, so
can't carry it.
All right, so let's talk about this fucking commercial we saw on the car ride home.
No, yes,
bro. This shit was wild.
No.
Yo.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, Sandy Hook PSA commercial. What the fuck do you even call it,
dude?
Nigga.
It's really bad.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
It starts out like any other back to school.
Y'all niggas just y'all gonna talk over it? Y'all niggas always trying to talk over some shit.
Seriously.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I need for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
What? No!
These scissors really come in handy in art class. These colored pencils, too.
These new socks? They can be a real lifesaver.
I knew it was a tourniquet. I couldn't use it. I thought she was hiding under something.
I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
When you know the signs.
Exactly! That's fucking exactly! What the fuck do you mean? What are you even talking about?
Did that not feel like a back-to-school commercial? Did you think they were selling some shit at first? And you're like,
yes, I thought this was like a Kohl's commercial. Or like...
And then I saw the teacher locking the door.
Teacher locking the door. I saw the kid running down the hall. I saw the kid put on the headphones, and then all the kids scattered behind him. I'm like,
no. And the one before that, the teacher was locked. The teacher closed the door and like locked it.
That made me feel some type of way. So basically, these parents, there's a group of parents who were victim to Sandy Hook shooting. They put out these weird commercials that are supposed to be PSAs to raise awareness. did they raise awareness? I don't want to shit talk them, but this was weird. This didn't feel like it was raising awareness for anything.
Maybe they should like have a therapist and what they're doing before they sent the shit out.
Yeah, that part. That part 2 times over. The fuck was that? That didn't aware me of anything.
These literally.
Preventable if you know the signs.
It made me aware that our kids are actually better prepared to get out of school than I thought. Cause
I was about to say, I always had a getaway plan.
Them niggas is gone. He said, "Thanks, mom." But also, it felt like hella comedic until you got into the bathroom, and then when you're in the bathroom, she was like, I was like, damn, you can't just put jokes in my face before we get up there. And then you get there, and then they was like, no, I feel sad. Yeah, that was wild. I wanted to show you guys that because you were watching Patrick Cloud talk about that. And I was like, oh shit.
I want somebody to dub a fart over that.
Because it was already sad, and then you said, and I was like,
that's what I was waiting for, yo. I was literally waiting for.
That would have been the nail on the head. I would have been like, cut this, take this off TV. Because that's just, that's off-screen kill. Ain't no like, oh man, she got away. Nah, she's dead.
It's over.
I was about to say, did you not hear the pop, 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 pop?
All right, so moving on from some other radical shit to another radical shit. I want to talk about Lavar and Lonzo Ball. Basically, Lavar and Lonzo Ball got into an argument on their show, Ball in the Family or some shit like that. That's on Facebook Live. I don't actually know if that's what it's called. Is that what it's called? Something like that. But so they got into an argument about changing the name of Big Baller Brand. I just got shit.
Would you change the name?
Hell no, I wouldn't change the name.
I'm just saying from a marketing standpoint.
From a marketing standpoint, regardless of what it is.
I'm just saying, that's my opinion. I'm just asking a question.
I'm just saying. Triple B is always going to be the name on the fact that it also stands for the 3 ball brothers. I'm not changing that at all.
What's your opinion on that?
I don't give about his opinion.
I just want to hear it.
But no, listen to me, son. When I come out with a name and then somebody tell me to change it, that's like me telling you to change your name. That's like people saying, oh, hey, change Lonzo's name to Alfonso on the fact that he's been damaged goods for the last 2 years.
The brand is demolished right now.
The brand is not demolished. That's how you feel the brand is demolished.
That's everybody feel.
Who's everybody?
The world.
The world? That's the consumers you talk to?
Yeah. It's all messed up right now.
Why is it messed up? Because one person did something bad?
He was the main person.
He wasn't the main person.
He ran everything.
He didn't run anything.
That's what I think.
Who the one signing autographs? Who the one taking the pictures?
You set it all up.
That means you running everything as far as who's the big baller brand?
Yes. Pause this real quick. I'm gonna let you know how talent and management works. You ready? Talent, you show the fuck up and you do the fuck what? The manager, the person who fucking runs the shit, tells you what to do. Yes, you might give orders to that person, and it might seem like you're running the shit because you get the bigger check, but they put your ass there, they get the person to sign the check for you, and they have more control over you than you think. So, like, yeah, he was running the shit.
It's big baller. Here's the thing. If you have a goddamn tree and a bad apple falls off the tree, you don't chop the goddamn tree down.
He was more than apple, though. He was the branch.
Cut the branch. You don't cut the whole tree down.
The tree did fall down.
He's like a root. I was about to say, either you the root and he a tree and he the trunk, or you the trunk and he's the roots.
It did fall down, though.
How did the tree fall down?
Why are we restarting everything?
How did the tree fall down? I created it before Alan even got here. I said the 3 ball brothers for you guys. I don't care who helped me get this started, but I come in with the vision like, you know what? We're going to have our own right here. That's why I didn't go everybody else's way.
All right, you got it.
It ain't about me got it.
You got it, man.
No, first of all, don't say you got it, man, to me. You're the one got to make it grow. I made you guys superstars for a reason. But if I don't do the things that I'm doing, Zoe, it's just another regular old player.
If Lonzo Ball stopped playing basketball right now, LeVar Ball would be nothing.
100%.
He called his son. He didn't directly. The headline was like LeVar Ball calls his son damaged goods, and he didn't directly say it.
Yeah, he did.
But he called them damaged goods.
He called them damaged goods. He called them Alfonso.
He said that's his name though.
No, he said that should change your name. He said it's like me saying I should change your name to Alfonso because you're damaged goods. And that was the quote. And that's like, did you sly call me damaged goods in that? Like, what the fuck?
It wasn't even sly. It was like, yeah, you just
It's not like we're trying to call it like the Trig Trawler Tran, you know, like this isn't like the Fig Faller brand, like.
No, and that's the thing too.
It's funny.
Shannon Sharp said some shit so funny. Shannon was like, if I was Lonzo, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna leave. Y'all could be the BBB. It's gonna be you though. It's not gonna be me. Lavar, you gonna be the third B? I was like, yes, I love Shannon. You gonna be the third B?
He's like, what are you gonna do
It's
if I
funny.
leave? It's gonna be two of you, and there's 3 Bs.
That's 3
Who's
Bs.
the third B?
You gonna play ball? You gonna suit up?
You suit up with 3 Bs on the
average of 3 points a game.
You change one of your names with like double Bs,
or 1 point a game. Just double Bs.
Yeah, I'm Benjamin Ball, and this is my brother.
Benjamin.
His last name isn't the same as mine because he had a different dad, but that's okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
We adopted a third one. He was a high school superstar.
He's really
he's 7'4". He's white and he has no fucking neck articulation. He runs like a robot with a fire hydrant in his ass.
All right. So guys, as soon as this ad finishes, we are moving into our horrors of the world. Isn't it? I found this beat and I was like, I know where this beat is from. I listened to another podcast that opens with this. So I was like, I guess I got some shit written again.
What's her name? What's their name?
Yeah. Damn, internet, you scary. Go check that out. Y'all should sponsor us too. I almost slipped. These John, the lead ups be hella long, and I don't ever want to cut through because the beat isn't like, it's not like a video where you can see it, but fuck it.
That's a sneak.
Yeah. It's horrors of the world. About to tell you some fucked up shit. Ready? I'm about to spit my rap. Shit right here and spit my facts. This man survived some bombs, but he ain't Superman. Thought he was a Pokemon. He was running like he had the baton. Balls of fire, an explosion. He thought his heart was imploding. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, calling out the God saying, hey Poppy, both cities, what is this? The world split into fist, rains of fire, hell on earth. He wanted to die, but it felt like birth. The only man to survive 2 nukes, so listen up please, don't hit mute. Gotta tell or wanna tell you, afterwards you're gonna need a tissue. Have you leaking worse than my man Shatuma? We about to have an issue, this world, we about to jump in like jiu-jitsu. How did he survive all of that, man? I ain't got a damn clue. Ducking and jumping and climbing and falling, he had to make it to the next city, but he ended up charred. Had to keep moving to get to his family before another bomb landed. He had to go hard, had to do it impossible, had to travel through the darkness. The story is very real. We ain't talking about no Loch Ness. Gotta tell you about the atomic bombs. How does man be the death? Ultimate alarm. I ain't write no ending. Off the dome. I wrote this all last night, and it was chrome.
Bars! When you come to Slay 45 in the morning, you must have bars.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
I was not gonna lie. He hyped it up when we were at work today. He was like, I got a new one. It's better. It keeps getting a little bit better. Every time it's gonna get a little bit better.
It's still gonna be written though.
Hey, I made a joke. Listen, I made a joke. He said I got a freestyle he said I wrote a freestyle and it's gonna be better than the last one. And I said maybe next time it won't be written and it'll just be a freestyle. But you undersold it.
Maybe next time it'll be written.
That was a lot. That was fire. That was really great. That was a lot better than the last one. Not to say the last one was not that great.
The last
but
one was probably trash too.
I was just saying that one was fire.
Thank you. Yeah, I wrote that in bed and I was like, I gotta impress these niggas because that shit was awful last time. But horrors of the world. If you didn't catch it, I want to talk about the man who survived 2 atomic bombs. I read about this shit when I did a report on the atomic bombing. And this is the most unfortunate man. If you want to check out now, TLDR, nigga got bombed by both. He was in both Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And it's not funny, but
I just sold my house in Hiroshima.
moved to Nagasaki and another bomb exploded.
Jesus. All right. So basically, what happened
Someone's
was
in here.
Tashuma. Ah, Jesus. You going back to that?
What'd you say?
Like, I just wanted to move and take pictures of the bombs.
I'm gonna need some water after this. I got a headache. From laughing though, that's what I did. For a second, I was like, "This thing got a headache from us? What the fuck?
What the fuck did we do?"
But no, so this man.
Well, what the fuck did you do?
So this man, Shitumo Yamaguchi, was leaving Hiroshima when the bomb dropped. Right. He and his colleagues had spent the summer there. They were at a wedding, and they're literally they're literally preparing to leave. So not yet. They were about to be out. They were like, we gotta stay here first for work and for fun, and then we'll be out.
And for fun.
Y'all get some drink.
So at like 8:15 in the morning.
It's got CBD in it though.
That sounds fine. What? What do you mean what? That sounds fine.
How? How did you put CBD?
It's powder. You just put it in there.
No, probably honey stick.
Oh, never mind. All right,
That's
sorry.
right. That's right. That's right. What?
Why you acting like he wasn't fucking close as fuck?
Thank
though?
you.
Like,
I don't even know what you said. I knew what it
I
was.
said like powder. Like I mean,
Powder? I know honey stick.
No, but it's CBD. You can sprinkle it in, and the same thing.
In powder? What kind of
not powder, but
cocaine you
crystal.
smoking?
Crystal. That's what I meant.
Nah.
All right. Anyway, so Yamaguchi was walking.
In terms of a drink, just put powder into a drink.
Anyway, thank
I'm
you.
sure they could do that at some point.
Brian. So at night, 8:15. Oh, in the morning. At 8:15 in the morning, Yamaguchi was walking to the Mitsubishi shipyard when he heard a drone fly over. He looked up and saw an American B-29 bomber soar over the city, and a small object connected to a parachute fall out. Suddenly, the sky erupted in the blaze, and this is cool because this is like first-hand experience of seeing that shit.
Not fucking
No,
cool,
it's not
man.
cool, but
It's an atomic bomb.
if there are any benefits from that just use of amazing, terrifying war power, it's the fact that someone could see it and explain it.
He's like, oh fuck.
If we're gonna use something like that, should we not at least know what it looks like?
Yeah.
I mean,
If
y'all
we
seen the video of the Mobe exploding, right?
No. He basically described that this blaze of light like lightning and a huge magnesium flare. He had just enough time to dive in a ditch before an ear-splitting boom rang out. The shockwave that accompanied it shucked Yamaguchi from the ground, spun up in the air like a tornado, and sent him hurling into a nearby potato patch. He'd been less than 2 rounds from ground zero when the bomb hit. So you're not close, but that's like, I used to live in Woodland, that's like from there to Swarthmore.
Yeah, nigga, that's still a lot.
Yeah, that's
still a lot.
You would feel that shit.
Yeah, he flew to a fucking potato field. Come on.
He wandered in the days towards what remained of the Mitsubishi yard. He found his co-workers there. They spent restless nights in an air raid shelter. They woke up. They made their way to a train station, which they heard was somehow still operating, and they got on it. There are just a bunch of people on the train, just look like zombies, just like,
of course,
just heading home. They see like bunch of areas that are just like destroyed.
Yeah.
Many of the city's bridges have been turned into twisted wrecks, and at one river crossing, Yamaguchi was forced to swim through a layer of floating dead bodies. So, when he returned to his wife, the whole world had turned its attention towards Hiroshima. 16 hours after the explosion, Harry Truman gave a speech that revealed the existence of atom bombs. Basically, it's like, hey, we got them. That was us. We got another one. Watch out for it.
Round 2. Reload.
So,
Round 2.
A B-29 bomber called Enola Gay had taken off from the Pacific Islands of Tinian and flew some 1,500 miles before detonating a bomb known as Little Boy over Hiroshima. Said all this in a little speech he gave.
Yeah.
Killed 80,000 people.
You say you had to swim through a sea of dead bodies.
Yeah. A little river. That doesn't matter. So he arrives in Nagasaki early August 8th, right? So despite being on the verge of collapse, he drags himself... Oh no. So Yamaguchi arrives in Nagasaki early morning, August 8th, and limps to the hospital. Doctors there who treat him are former classmates, and he has blackened burns on his hands and face. People couldn't even recognize him, so his family eventually recognizes him. He gets returned home, And despite being on the verge of collapse, he drags himself out of bed on August 9th to report to the Mitsubishi Nagasaki office. He gets there at 11 a.m., and he's in a meeting with the company director trying to explain what happened. He's recounting the blinding light, the deafening booms, but his superiors accuse him of being crazy.
Dude, there was this big fucking explosion, and this light just fucking flashed across... Right there! Fucking that!
They are literally like... That! They are literally like, you are crazy. Which, you think this only happens in movies, right? How could they not... President Harry Truman just gave a speech where we said we bombed them shits.
Yeah, but not everybody got a TV, so it's not like they know.
Fair.
It was like, yo, I just came from Hiroshima, yo. It's been crazy.
So, he literally is trying to explain himself when the landscape outside suddenly explodes with another iridescent flash.
Look,
Yamaguchi drops to the ground seconds before the shockwave shatters the office windows and sends breaking glass everywhere. He said, I thought the mushroom cloud had followed me from Hiroshima.
Oh, damn! Yo, watch all the guys. Watch all the guys been like, what's that? Like, he's getting like obliterated by the glass, and he's like on the ground like, I fucking knew it. I called it.
So why'd you not believe me? Just get down.
He's Woody Harrelson in the fucking in 2012. He's like at fucking Yellowstone or whatever. He's like, yes!
Oh, I was like, what? Oh shit, he was in that movie. Oh yeah. So yeah, basically he limps out of the skeleton of what was Mitsubishi office, goes and finds his wife, finds his kids. In the days following, he's safe.
Of course.
So basically, if he hadn't been hurt, he got them out of their house, which collapsed. If he hadn't been hurt in Hiroshima, like if he had stayed in Hiroshima and was safe somewhere else and never made it home, they would have died, possibly.
Why can't I die?
I mean, you just said he saved them, so.
Well, there's no chance that they were going to be home. They could have been somewhere else.
You already knew it was happening. You saw the bombs.
They could have been like, what? You're in the hospital in this other city that a fucking atomic bomb just exploded? Let me come to you.
Yeah. So, in the days following, Yamaguchi's double dose of radiation took its toll. His hair fell out. The wounds in his arms turned gangrenous. He was vomiting incessantly. He was languishing. All this was happening while he was in a bomb shelter with his family. I had no feeling about it. I was neither sorry nor glad. I was just sick. Couldn't even drink. Unlike so many victims, he recovered and went on to live a relatively normal life. Served as a translator for the U.S. Armed Forces during the occupation of Japan, and later taught schools before reassuming his engineer career at Mitsubishi. Him and his wife even had 2 more kids. Both of them girls. But he still dealt with the horrific memories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but he started writing poetry. He later journeyed to New York in 2006 and spoke about nuclear disarmament before the UN. Tsusumu Yamaguchi wasn't the only person to endure 2 atomic blasts. His co-workers, Akira and Kuniyashi, were also in Nagasaki when the second bomb fell, as well as Shigeyoshi, a kite maker who had also miraculously survived Hiroshima. But he finally won that distinction in 2009, the year before he died, at the ripe old age of 93.
Damn. He's like, I told you, I was fucking there. I was there when the first one went off. I was fucking there when the second one went off.
I don't know why the fuck you didn't believe me.
It took you fucking 60 how many years?
This poor man. How you go through 2 atomic bombs?
Die.
You're not even supposed to go through 1. He lived till 93 too. Can you imagine mugging this nigga? Give me all your money.
I was just chasing the kite flying.
You ain't even give me your money.
You ain't even got flex on you. You'd be like, nigga, I was at Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
I'm actually really happy. But we made it through a podcast and nobody fell asleep.
Fireworks here, and we got a bomb. So is there anything else anyone wants to bring up before I cough?
Buy Bitcoin.
Always tip your delivery drivers.
You know what? You know what else?
And buy your fish from Hills. Don't go to Acme. Don't go to Giant. Don't go to ShopRite.
Fuck Fish Mart USA.
Yeah, you know what? Also, don't go to Britton Lake Hills. Don't go to Media Hills. Don't go to the Exton Hills. Tell them the Newtown Square Hills.
Fuck Sal. And fuck his live crabs.
Featuring your boys. Soon enough, Lloyd too. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. My name's Cliff. This has been Higher Education's podcast.
I hate you so much.
Peace.
So much. I don't want to be on this podcast.
You wasn't fucking with that podcast.
Take the fucking sticker off.
Thanks for watching our content. We love you guys. I like you guys. Thanks for watching.
I don't know if I'm ready to quit.